Welcome to In-House Conversations with Naomi Campbell, powered by TD. I'm Vanessa Kraft, and I'll be the moderator today. Welcome, Naomi. It is lovely to see you.
Welcome, Vanessa. Lovely to meet you.
It's
Actually,
such
my
a
God, I thought you were another Vanessa Kraft.
Oh, there are two? No.
Are you Vanessa Kraft TikTok?
Yes, Vanessa Kraft TikTok, formerly of Elle.
Okay. So then I'm confusing you with another Vanessa who's English but lived in Australia but lives in LA. Do you know that, Vanessa?
No, I'm a Vanessa who came from Toronto, moved to London, and then came back to Toronto, but we should probably connect.
Yeah, that she also works at TikTok. That's why I was confused.
Wow. What a small world. Okay, well, let's get started. So you are a natural storyteller, and I love it when you're turning the camera onto others, such as on your YouTube channel. But I've noticed you've also embraced TikTok. You've embraced Clubhouse. I saw you pop up there the other day.
I did.
How was that experience?
Well, my friend R.A. Burkhoff said to me, do you want to try this? And I'd had a few of these invitations since, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. And I was like, what is this? And I'm intimidated by all that stuff. So I was like, well, I'll just ignore it. And I kept getting a few more, but no one had actually called to explain me what it was. And then I got a call from a friend who R.A. explained me what it was. And I said, okay. And then before I knew it, I was in it. And I started getting a lot of friends telling me, oh, we'll help you. And one of my other friends, Everett, helped me, gave me some tips. And then I knew that I was doing a talk the next day, so it was announced. It's fun.
Well, it's definitely a different way of working, but I'm sure for you there's a big difference in terms of how you're able to create your own narrative and tell your own story.
I think it's very important. As a model, we've never had that opportunity because we were just taken photos of. So it's important that people know that we have a voice and that we can speak. And just like that, we're real. And so, yeah, it's important to be able to speak up and not say your own narrative.
Yeah, I think it's one of the wonderful things about the digital revolution is that it democratizes who's telling that story and that you can take power of that and ownership.
Absolutely.
Let's talk to some of the young creatives that are watching right now. I'd love to talk to you about how working in the creative industries, often it's an isolating experience if you are a first or an only, of which I'm sure you have experience with that, being the first or only in a space. Do you want to talk about how you manage those types of situations early on in your career?
You know, it really, for me, when I was younger, my mother raised me in Italy and in Switzerland and in England. And so for that reason, I traveled at such an early age, as early as 6 months old, that I really was more of a free spirit. So for me, when I understood these first, someone would have to make me aware because I didn't notice it. But when I became aware, then I really became aware. And I just felt like I'm not gonna make anyone change the way I feel. I'm not gonna feel like I don't belong. If that's what they want me to feel, I'm not gonna do any of it. And I'm not gonna leave the room.
Wow. Where did that inner strength come from to advocate for yourself that way?
I think my upbringing, I come from a family of strong women, and my school, I've been, working since I was 5, and I feel like, I got to understand what rejection, what ambition, what drive, what competition, what all of that was about at a young age. And so I think that all made me be who I am today. It's all little facets,
Yeah, it's really a growth. I think a lot of people who start out, they do struggle to find their voice and to think about when it is appropriate to speak up and what possible repercussions could come from that. It's
Vanessa,
scary.
I spoke up many times at the wrong time. I didn't know when I was to speak up or not. And And I'm Gemini on top of it, so can you imagine? And when I did started speaking up, I got labeled difficult, fired, which is impossible if I'm self-employed, and everything you could think of to keep me silenced. But I was like, no. I didn't even realize back then it was everything that they did to silence me. I didn't even really know. That didn't hit me till years later. It was, for me, this is what the experiences I was going through. So I was speaking about experiences that were happening to me, not making up them, not somebody else's, my own experience.
It is really a rude awakening when you realize and you look back on some of those times when you didn't use your voice or didn't even know you had a voice to use. And now you're in such an incredible position where not only are you speaking so freely and sharing so many experiences for women and creatives to advocate for themselves, but you are really in a place of setting that incredible example with the work that you're doing right now.
I just feel like right now you have to be authentically you. I'm not perfect. Never claimed to be, always said I'm a work in progress. But I feel like you have to be you. And the job that we are in, it can get so misconstrued of who we are or who we're not.
Yes.
And so, for me, authenticity's always been something very important to me, to have integrity, to be loyal to who you are as a person. I've gotten to be around amazing examples of people that are my heroes that I respect until the day I leave this planet, of examples of the fight that they endured, of their life of constitution and strength and perseverance. So I don't take anything lightly. I really do understand, though, that stifling yourself can make you very ill. It can make you sick in health. It's just not good. You have to be you. You have to speak. You have to scream. You have to do it. It's better that you do it than you don't do it.
Right. Yes, because there's the pain of not speaking at all and what that does to you internally versus the risk.
Oh, I don't think there's any good coming out of that. I don't
Yeah.
think there's any good. I think if you don't live your life for you, you're not a happy person inside. You're not really living. Yeah. You are not really taking life by all it has to offer through the ups and the downs and the triumphs and the victories and the lows and the highs. And you're not living it then.
Excellent point. It's an excellent point that sometimes in life we do have to face those hard battles. And it's through those types of battles that we grow and that we learn and that we become closer to who we are. So let's talk about, I know you had mentioned that you had the privilege of being around people that really helped you to be reminded of the importance of speaking up for yourself and being true to yourself. That is important, I think, for everyone to cultivate in their life, regardless of what stage or process they are. Do you want to talk about your support system and just how that's helped you?
My support system was pretty incredible because my life, and I say this often, but it's true, it wasn't choreographed, it wasn't a strategy. You connect with energies around the world, and we all connect with energies. And we try to do our best when we get on this planet to do our best of who we are while we're here. But I got to meet some incredible people in my life, and colorful. And I pinch myself sometimes, and I was like, I'm really blessed. I am. I have a lot to be thankful for. And one of those people, that people may probably know this already, is President Nelson Mandela. He's such a symbol of hope. But more than just such a symbol of hope, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would ever meet somebody like this. And never even then thought I would be able to call him granddad, to become his honorable granddaughter, to travel with him, to have a 20-year grandfather-granddaughter relationship that was consistent and loving, full of wisdom, even when he didn't speak. It's even more so. humble, loyal, never complained, never acted like a victim, forgiveness beyond any human I've ever seen, and just so much to take in and learn from. And I didn't get it when I was younger, honestly. I was just like, I'm with Nelson Mandela. But, you know, as I've gotten older, and the year he passed in 2013 on the 5th of December, something really hit me like a truck, that everything he was trying to put me through, get me through, teach me, learn me, whatever way he spoke to me was to do something. There was another reason behind it. And it all came alight, I could say. Yeah.
That's incredible. And I'd love to have you actually share the story of when you first met Mr. Mandela at your fashion show all those years ago. It's
It
such
was
a
actually, you know, it was the very first time I physically saw him. I saved up $2,500 to go to see him at the Tribeca Film Center in New York, where Mayor Dinkins was mayor, Robert De Niro, Eddie Murphy, and Little Steven had an invitation pay only event. And I was like, I'm going to save up for that. And I bought 2 tickets, in fact. And I remember my date was Bob Colacello from Vanity Fair. I loved Bob. And he's still here. And if you're listening or if you ever hear about this, Bob, I do love you, always will. Because he saw something in me that I didn't see. And just great. And just to hear his wonderful stories about Andy Warhol and the factory, he truly lived. And then I then got a job to go to be a judge on the Miss World. And I went along with 12 other judges. One of them was Iman, Bowie, David Litchfield, Charles Dance. It was an array of characters. It was wonderful. It was in South Africa. Cut a story short, Blair Underwood was one of the actors. He took me to a secret meeting of the ANC. I got to hear about all this stuff. I was completely just like, of course I knew who Nelson Mandela was, because at school in London, Elvis Costello, the special, was saying Free Nelson Mandela. So, you know, I knew who he was. But I didn't know. I knew about the racism, the anti-apartheid in South Africa, Sun City. I knew about all that, but I didn't know the depth. So being in that meeting, in that house, was really something. It was a turning moment, one of the turning moments in my life, where I was like, oh my God, I want to support the ANC. Maybe that's where my activist, whatever, I don't know, started, because that's just, I don't know, I just went gung-ho. And I decided that the money that I was making for this job, which was a week long in South Africa, that I was going to donate or give it to the ANC. So as I went on stage to give my vote, which was the lady that won was Aishwarya, the Indian actress who I got to see last year and haven't seen her since that time. It was really great to see her. Now we're in contact. And I said that everything I was donating, everything I chose to make there to the ANC. And by the time I got off stage, I can't remember anything anymore. I was told or asked, I think I was told, you are leaving tomorrow morning to Johannesburg to meet the president, Nelson Mandela of South Africa. I was just like, so, and I took the late Herb Ritts with me, because we were allowed to bring someone, and I asked a few friends, and everyone was like, I don't want to go to Africa, I don't want to get malaria. You know, and things are not explained properly, so they didn't know, yes, and they leave it like that. But Herb Ritts said, I'm coming, and he came. And he shot that beautiful book on Africa, those beautiful portrait of Granddad. Actually, he shot Granddad and I 3 times. And he did that book in like 10 days, the Africa book. It was just a really great trip. And a lot was born, reborn, new beginnings. Yeah. And
I love that. you had a moment where you saw someone so sure in their power, so advocating for others and true to themselves, and that inspired you now to go on and do the work that you do. And I'm sure there are people watching now who are going to feel the same way from some of the work you're doing.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, Vanessa, I'm just doing what I feel comfortable doing, my gut tells me to do. Again, there's no strategy. But that's what I feel, yeah, that's what I feel like, everyone's like, where are you, Naomi? Right now I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm on the African continent. I stayed 7 months in America. I'm coming back. But I really missed the African continent. I missed it so much. And now I know what it was that I missed. As hectic as it could be, there's still a peace that you find. On top of all of that, there's a peace. And that's what I love about this continent.
Well, tell us about not only what you love about the continent, but tell us about some of the work that you've been doing there, some of the initiatives. You've got some great
Well,
things.
I started work right away, pretty much, in 1994. I became part of the Nelson Mandela Children's Foundation Children's Fund in 93, but really went into work physically in 94 and started from there and just kept going. It's always been about children and education. Education is key. And from there, I tried to see how I could mix my world of fashion into being supportive. That's how first it was frock and roll. Before Fashion for Relief, I called it frock and roll. Then I switched it to Fashion for Relief in 2005 when Hurricane Katrina hit. So I've been doing it a long time, but it wasn't to show. I never showed it. It was really for just the people locally and to make as much as we can and to support the departments, the divisions of education, of illnesses, of women that we could. And it just grew from there. I feel like you cannot force, that word philanthropy didn't exist. It was just, this is what I like doing. And I go back to when I was about 5 years old, when my mom used to get these letters. And they were letters of drawings of a school or a house, of a children's drawing, a drawing of a child my age. And I was like, well, I didn't draw that, so where are you getting that from, Mum? And basically, my mother used to sponsor children in Ethiopia. So I feel like my mother actually opened my eyes to understanding about that in this way and this journey. When I look back at it, it started really there to understand and know. And I wanted to meet them. I was like, when can they come to visit? When can we play? Or when can I go? Not knowing that they were living in a place of conflict.
It really feels as though people are finally starting to wake up to the incredible level of influence and creativity and culture coming out of Africa and the continent. What inspires you the most about what you're seeing happening there?
Oh my goodness, it's just like, you're full. You're just full. It's full. I don't like this word, I say this word often, but I'm so excited and thrilled to be alive right now and see all of this and feel all of this. It fuels me, gives me energy. It's exciting times.
It's beautiful. And when we look at what's been happening over the last year and all of the changes and the things going on in the world, we know that change is slow. And we know that in the wake of the Black Lives Matter protests and everything that happened with George Floyd, there have been steps to hold people accountable, organizations accountable. and racist practices and push for representation. But we have seen some performative activism going on for sure. I'd love to know, what gives you hope for the future, or what changes you still want to see in terms of what we all are facing right now.
It just seems like it keeps happening over and over, repetitively happening and repeating itself. So maybe there needs to be a law. Maybe it needs to be against the law to be racist against another. It's not, against all creeds, LGBTQ. It's all because you cannot treat. I just went to visit the Badagry, which is the place of no return, point of no return here in Nigeria. It's really very, very hard to swallow. To see the shackles, to see the point, to stand on that ground, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to swallow. And we cannot, and we will not be going backwards.
No. Yeah, I think there is definitely more of an acknowledgement taking place, but there are systems. There has
to be an acknowledgement, but it has to be done in a peaceful way. But it has to be done in a way of that, not just a Band-Aid. It's not a Band-Aid situation. It never has been. It needs to go back from the roots to the very beginning and taken care of once and for all.
Agreed. So let's talk about further to that. Is there a lesson that you have learned in your life, in your career, that has always stayed with you? Something that you always turn to for strength, or that you live your life by?
Not having regrets. I mean, I've messed up in my life in terms of my craziness, and everyone knows it. I've lived my life right. It's been an open book. But the things and the actions, I own my stuff. I've owned up to what I do. But I don't want to be in a place, I wish I'd done this, I wish I hadn't done this. No, I don't want to live like that. No. You have to do it. Do it. It's all right. It's okay to fail. It's okay. And anyway, it's okay to be victorious. It's okay, but you need to try. I'd rather try than not. That's just always who I've been.
And let's just quickly talk a little bit about fashion, because obviously, what about fashion still inspires you today, especially with what you're seeing in Africa? There are some incredible...
Oh, I love it. I'm just loving it. Loving everything I'm seeing today. Loving all the artisan techniques I'm seeing here on the continent, because they're doing it by hand. They don't have the machinery that we have out west. And so we just have to give the support to the infrastructure for production. We need to come in here and really come in here with the right intention. This could be an incredible. This is part of the globe. This is the missing link, folks.
Yes, Africa is the past,
You've missed
present,
out.
and future. Yes, past, present, and future, for sure. Well, as we come towards the end of our conversation, I wanted to ask about going back to the young people watching right now, speaking to what do you do to protect your energy and to protect your mental health? Because it is very tough out there, especially when you're trying.
I get tried every day. Trust me. I get tried. I don't always handle it right, but I get tried every day. I have to just play dead. Just play
let
dead.
it go.
Yeah.
Go.
I have a wonderful person in my life who is a great mentor to me. His name is Gordon, and he just tells me, play dead, no reaction.
Water off a duck's back.
I'm not saying water off a duck's back. I'm just saying not even that.
Mm,
It's just not, it's just not going there. It's not getting in. It's not
nice,
getting deep.
nice. That does sound like quite the gift, that to navigate the world where you're like, this is what I'm doing, this is who I
Oh, no,
am.
it's not. It doesn't have. I have to work on it. It's not like it's hard work.
Right? Waking up and choosing serenity, not always the easiest thing to do.
um, living life and trying to enjoy it, even through these unknown times. More grateful than ever.
Yes, gratitude. So important. Well, I think we are pretty much done, unless there's anything else that you'd like to chat about. I think it's been really helpful to hear your thoughts about the work in Africa and the incredible things that are going on there.
Well, listen, I'm like, Abel, when are we going to Ethiopia? Because I'm like, I've been waiting for that trip for a minute. When are we going? I'm waiting.
Yes.
I'm gonna, when he's gonna do that concert in Ethiopia, I'm gonna be right there.
I mean, you're the ultimate tour guide. I can't imagine why that hasn't happened yet.
He wants to. He does want to. He does. And it was in the works, and then it was in the works. So I think once we get back into our new way of living, that it will come to fruition.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was lovely to chat with
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for making this possible. How you got all this incredible equipment here is unbelievable. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.